Hey guys, John Henderson Pierre, the Beverage Ramble and Chats. I want to come in real quick, talk about a couple of things. First, let me get on to the Olympics. I didn't really mention this when I talked about Comcast and the IOC extending their relationship for 2034 and 2036, the Winter Olympics in 2034 and the Summer Games in 2036. As you know, recently Comcast has decided to siphon off some of their networks, and one of the networks that they're deciding to siphon off is, of course, the ones that would do a lot of overflow of Olympic programming when Comcast gets the Olympics. When they do the Olympics, NBCUniversal, networks like USA and CNBC, Bravo, where they will air events that are not as high profile marquee, but events nonetheless, like, you know, cycling or water polo or cross country skiing or, you know, any other Winter Olympic that is not as high profile as the ones that you'll see on primetime on the main network. So with the state of cable television being what it is, and who knows what's going to happen in 5 years, you don't know what's going to happen in 3 years with the state of cable television. Will, you know, NBCUniversal maybe at some point decide to put all their marquee stuff on the network, but will they put everything on Peacock, their streaming platform? Will they do something like, you know, hey, you'll get this, or do a bundle sort of thing? That's going to remain to be seen. So that was what I forgot to mention, because during NBCUniversal's coverage of the games, from going back to, when some of those cable networks got involved, airing some of these competitions, I would say maybe 2004 in Athens, where they would use some of those channels, or maybe even '06 in Turin, Italy, during the Winter Games. They would use those channels like CNBC, like MSNBC, like Bravo, like USA, to air some of those events, just like it did this past July last year for the Summer Games. Now, with those channels being siphoned off, what's going to happen? Also, another factor is, will NBCUniversal get a partner to help them televise some of these games? Maybe Warner Brothers Discovery, which owns TNT Sports. Now, Dave Zaslav, who runs TNT Sports, has said, he feels good and confident in the direction of TNT Sports when he made that statement that, hey, it was a good move walking away from the NBA. Remains to be seen what will happen come October of 2025 this year, when there's no NBA, how much those ad revenues, those ad dollars are going to really impact, the network. But again, he says fiscally they feel that they made the right decision. So we shall see about that. But again, maybe I'm just throwing it out there. Maybe, TNT Sports, David Zaslav, maybe NBC could use them as a partner, as to air some of those other events if, again, Comcast is siphoning off those channels like USA, Bravo, CNBC, whatnot. What they're going to do now when it comes to other, games that are not getting that exposure on television. Will it just be all streaming? Will they need a partner? So I'm throwing out there with TNT Sports, the last time TNT or Turner was involved with any Olympics, that was 1998 in Nagano, Nagano, Japan. That was a partnership between them and CBS Sports. And while those games did okay, there was a lot of complaints about coverage. And, the main thing I would think, I remember watching those games, that it was the time difference was major. Again, a lot of these games, when they take place in these Asian nations, are pretty hard to cover. But now, that was 1998, this is 2025, so a lot has happened, a lot has changed. We can actually, technology, whatnot, but who knows? I'm just throwing it out there. If David Zaslav and TNT Sports, Warner Bros. Discovery wants to get involved, maybe as a partner, just throwing it out there. Lincoln Murdoch, Lanchin Murdoch, if that's his name, the son of Rupert Murdoch, has said again, this is chat number 2, about maybe there is some interest in Sunday Night Baseball for the Fox Sports Group. Now, Fox does air games on, when the season starts, they'll air a couple of afternoon games, regional games. Of course, their cable network, FS1, will also air some games as well. And that's really much it. And then, of course, during the year, they'll air then up about around the time of, say, usually Memorial Day weekend, they'll air a lot of games on Saturday night. They'll theme it Baseball Night in America. Saturday games, regional games, they will air from Memorial Day weekend all the way up until maybe the start of, before the All-Star game. And then that's about it. Now, if they were to get involved, how much they're willing to spend, I don't know. I doubt that the network will want to, Fox Sports Group, want to put games on Sunday evening on Big Fox, their over-the-air channel, because obviously they have their animation night or their animation block of programming on Sunday nights, which does pretty good. Will they want to disrupt that just to put Sunday Night Baseball, or is it just going to be exclusive to FS1, which is still in a good amount of homes? I would say about the same amount, probably lesser to a degree, of ESPN, maybe 65, 60 million homes. And they're still trying to, put an input on ESPN, which everyone has tried to do. They've tried to do, but hasn't happened and probably will never happen. But if they were to get the Sunday night package, obviously those games will air exclusively on FS1. What will that mean for some of their other programming, which they do air? They do air some soccer, MLS games. They don't have all of the MLS contract, but they do air some MLS games. They do have some other programming as well. They have NASCAR during the early part of the year before another broadcast entity takes over. So, look, it's going to be interesting. Now, if they were to do Sunday Night Baseball, what does that mean for their Saturday afternoon package or Saturday evening package? Will they maybe cut back on that, maybe not air any games, maybe air a limited amount of games, or maybe just air only the Sunday Night Baseball games, and then still have the the All-Star game, of course, the LDS and the of whatever division that they do, one of the league divisional series, whether it be the National League or the American League. I think this year Fox is doing the American League, so they have the LDS and the League Championship Series. So this year's the American League Championship Series. So will they cut back? Will they add more games? How's this going to work if they do decide to get Sunday Night Baseball? Now, again, this is all talk right now of terms of interest. We shall see. But I'm thinking that might be the case where they may drop airing Saturday night or Saturday afternoon games, maybe air a few games on FS1, and then air the rest of the Sunday night package on FS1 or Fox or either or maybe just airs the Saturday afternoon games and FS1 does the Sunday night games. However it works, this is kind of interesting knowing Fox has really been kind of, like most of the other networks, really kind of firm of watching what they're spending and what they're doing and not to go overboard. Baseball, it does well regionally, but nationally it's still not hitting what it used to be. Like many of us growing up as a kid, baseball was always like the game of the week on NBC. And then when CBS took over back in 1990, they tried to do the same thing, and that just didn't work. And then of course the baseball network, which was an utter disaster. That was a partnership between NBC and ABC that just was an epic fail. Then you have and then you have Fox taking over. We're doing Saturday games, which was regional. You have this game at this time zone, this game in that time zone, certain markets, but then they decided to change that back in 2006, where this time of the day you'll get these games at this market and this kind of like the NFL. So we'll see what Fox does. So it's kind of interesting. Finally, real quick, of course, we're the day before March Madness, but this is kind of funny. Mike Francesa, the legendary sports broadcaster, he was doing his podcast and not realizing that he was live. I think he was going on with some of his producers about St. John's and their record and, that they're Big East champions. And he was correcting them and said, no, they're not the Big East champions. The Big East champion, they won the regular season championship, but not the tournament itself. And there was a lot of discussion going back and forth between him and the producers over his headset. Unfortunately, he didn't realize that he was live on the air. So it's kind of a funny moment. I have it. I save it. I'm going to post it on the channel when I post this video, and y'all see. Just hit and click it. And it is kind of funny, but you know what? I'll give Mike Francesa a pass. He's a sports legend in this country. He's just, beloved, and, Mike and the Mad Dog, who I grew up listening to in growing up in New Jersey, Mike Francesa, Christopher Mad Dog Russo, their afternoon show on WFAN was just must listen to every day. And these guys have become legends. And now, if you're a sports media person who no matter what, top 5 all-time sports media personalities, Chris Russo, Mike Francesa is right up there on that list no matter what. And these men are men of respect. Simple. Men of respect. So that's what they are. So, but anyway, I'll send the clip out there to you. So that's about it. Not much is going on. We got March Madness. A lot of stuff is happening. So keep watching. Keep checking it out. So Beverage Ramble, the latest media news. See you later. Bye.